Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Dbacks Dispatch here on YouTube. If this is your first time finding us, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our future content. Check us out on Apple Podcast. I can't speak today. Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and also make sure to check us out on Twitter at Dbacks Dispatch. Here to talk another series win, gentlemen. This close to a sweep. This close to a sweep. So it is a bummer, but it's still a series win. And to be honest, that's all that I ask to get a series win. It's where we are right now. So we're 2 games over 500 now. So we're still right in the thick of the playoff race. So pretty excited. Game 1, like we said, was a very early game. It was like an 11 a.m. first pitch. So you had to get up bright and early there. Game was started by Ryan Nelson, and boy, did he deliver. Ryan Nelson with another really good start. Pitched 5 2/3, 3 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, a career high 9 strikeouts. He had 12 whiffs on 96 pitches. He threw 65 fastballs in this game. So he is getting into a rhythm. I would say he's probably which is very weird to say, our second best pitcher right now, but behind Brandon Pfaadt. Like it's so crazy. So he was at 68% four-seam fastball usage in this game. Gabe, do you think Ryan Nelson can continue his recent success while still remaining so fastball dominant?
I don't see why not. I mean, this is who he's been the last, I believe, 6 starts almost. He just had a blow up against the Twins, and then after that, he's been either solid or downright elite with the way he's been pitching, especially relying on that fastball because it is a very good fastball. That's why we've talked about maybe moving him to the bullpen at times, just because of how hard he can throw it and how much movement, and he can elevate it and everything. So we're like, if he figures it out, he can end up in the bullpen or he can do something else with that fastball. And this game is just another indication of what he's been doing so far these last few weeks. He's changed his delivery. He's not, extending as much as he used to. And that seems to be the biggest difference that he's made so far. And since doing that, he's just been I believe I tweeted out something like 24 and 24 and like a third or 2/3 innings. He's allowed 6 runs, which is ridiculous. Like he's been completely dominant, and like I said, I don't see why he wouldn't continue this. He probably will have 1 or 2 blow-up starts soon enough, like just the way baseball works. But so far, he's been looking amazing. I'd be curious to see how he does at home again. I believe the last time he was here at home, he still pitched like 5 innings and 1 run or something like that. But yeah, like we've been talking about it before. Like Fott is the ace, and then because Gallen has not been getting the job done as much recently, so Ryan, like this is his spot to lose once Montgomery comes back.
Yeah, they're going to have to make that decision, I believe, this week because I think the rumor is Montgomery's supposed to be back for the Kansas City series, so they're going to have a tough decision to make as to, who do we really end up losing? For those of you that don't know, Gabe has produced a very hilarious meme from the Joker that we jokingly, it was jokingly put out, in like April and May?
It was literally his first start. I put it out his first start.
Yeah, it was literally a joke. But now it's not a joke, you guys. So, but no, yeah, we'll get into that. Brett, is the usage of that 4-seam, do you think eventually these guys will catch up to it? Or is it at that, because I think he's touching 97, 98 on that 4-seam. Do you think it's that dominant where he can throw it at such a high percentage?
I mean, I know this game because they mentioned on the broadcast, the Cubs are a team that do struggle with fastballs, so it might have just been maybe like a perfect matchup. But it's not necessarily just like that. The entire story, as Gabe mentioned, he's been really solid as of late. Just in July alone, he's had 4 starts. He's gone 5 innings or more in each one of them. He's given up 3 runs or less in every one of them, with 3 of them giving up only 1 run. He's been really solid. He's only walked a total of 4 guys in that span. I think it's just genuinely when he has control and he's not just firing it right down the middle and he's not kind of missing either arm side, because there's times where he's missing arm side, sometimes he's missing glove side. But he was just locating really well, like, keeping it on the edges. Even if he's going to throw it right down the middle and by people, he's throwing it hard enough. And kind of like that curveball right there, Zach Gallen did to Freddie Freeman in the playoffs last year. If you can tunnel well enough, I think you can really be effective. And I think that's what we're seeing from him, is he's kind of found himself. Even Gabe, you did the digging, shortening his delivery, which, by the way, God, great sleuthing. I think that's a big key with it. And ever since then, he just needed a little bit of confidence, and he got it from that first adjustment, and he's been carrying the load. I know we talked about, especially when Yilber Diaz came up, and we're like, if Yilber does good, maybe Ryan gets sent down for Jordan. But I don't know. I think even if Yilber does go 6 or 7 tomorrow, I still think that he'll probably be sent down for Jordan, or like he'll be the following move, because he starts Monday. Jordan's projected to start Tuesday. I wouldn't say I'd be surprised if that's the move. But like, I think Ryan Nelson has fully earned his spot here still, and I think we're seeing something that the Diamondbacks saw, and the reason why they kept him as a starting pitcher. I know, like Ollie Crow, I know we've talked about him just moving to the bullpen, and he's gone and just shut down some pretty decent teams. The Dodgers, the Padres, the Blue Jays, and the Cubs. Like, I know it's not like every team is the Dodgers, but these still aren't any slouches. They still got some guys in the lineup with some pop, and he's gone out there and he's done really well.
Yeah, I will eat crow. I thought Nelson was done. Like, I was like, I've seen enough with Ryan Nelson as a starter. I was like, he's just not a long-term solution. I still don't think he is. Right now though, I think he is a viable. He should stay in the rotation. He has earned that this last month. This last month is probably the most dominant he's been in his major league career. Like, his ERA has dropped drastically in the last month with these 4 starts. Like, it's really impressive. So I'm hoping Nelly can kind of keep this going. So I'm very excited. Some other notes from this game: Ginkel is still Ginkel from September and October last year. 1 run in his last 12 appearances, because it was like a lot of people were worried about him because he had a stretch, I think in May, where it felt like every outing gave up just a big time hit. And you're like, is Ginkel that guy anymore? Yeah, he is, ladies and gentlemen. Ginkel is still stinky. So very impressive. Jamar struggled in this outing, and we'll kind of get into this later as well. This was not a great series for Justin Martinez, so that was kind of a bummer. Gabby Moreno needs to be a permanent fix in the 2-hole. He went 3 for 5 in this game with a double, 3 runs, and 2 RBI. He's batted in the number 2 hole in 11 games, 47 at bats, 20 hits, 8 runs, 7 doubles, a homer, and 9 driven in. That's a slash. Batting average 426, on base 451, slugging 638. It's a 1.089 OPS. That is nasty, ladies and gentlemen. I wouldn't say I was worried, but I know a lot of D-backs fans were worried in like April and May when Gabby it seemed like he was trying to be a home run hitter. That's not who Gabby is. Gabby is up the middle and going the other way.
He can hit homers. It's just when he's actually trying and actively
Correct.
attempting to is when he kind of, loses himself at the plate.
Yeah, like, that's the one thing that was frustrating me about Gabby. I was like, Gabby, you can hit homers, yes, if the pitch makes it possible. But don't try and be like a Shohei Ohtani or Christian Walker where you're going for it in every at bat. Gabby, this is not who he is. Gabe, speaking of Gabby, should Gabby be the permanent 2-spot hitter against lefties this season?
I'm inclined to think so because they move either Carroll doesn't play or he's at the 7 or 8 hole when they play against lefties. So I don't see why they don't put Cattell lead off and then Gabby as number 2. I mean, if anything, we can even test out Gabby at number 2 even against righties. Like Cattell being able to swing the bat with both Carroll and Gabby on base, like that can make a huge difference in terms of his RBI count and just scoring a lot more, especially to start off a game like that. Especially if Cattell, I mean, we know he'll slap singles left and right all over. And if you have some guy like Christian Walker, whoever else is after him down the line, like this can become the high powered offense that we've discussed uh, in the season preview. And I think we've seen flashes of it here and there. And I think it's a lot of it does come down to guys like Gabby and Carroll. It's like these young guys who put up good at bats and just find little holes and gaps in the outfield that once they drop in, it's off to the races. They score a lot when these guys are on.
Yeah, like I know Gabby can't play every day. Yeah, Bubba, I am starting to like that. Marte and Gabby versus lefties. Like that's really hard to say no to. And I think Tori's starting to see it because we are seeing Gabby in that 2 spot a lot more this last month. So I think Tori's like, oh, I put Gabby in the 2. Like you can't pitch around Cattell there. Like Carroll, like the way Carroll's been playing lately, has been not that great when he's in the 2 hole. Like he's good in the 1, and he's okay when they put him in the bottom of the lineup. But yeah, Gabby has raised his average now to 252. I think his lowest point was on June 9th at 229. So he's raised it quite a bit here the last 6 weeks. So very excited. We did take game 1. It says 5-2. The Cubs made it very interesting there in the 8th and 9th inning, and it had me feeling a little bit warm and concerned. But they got the win. That's all that matters.
It's insane. They had 19 chances with runners in scoring position in this game. That's wild. 5 for 19.
Yeah. Moving on to game number 2. It was a shutout. I don't know how. I really don't know how this was a shutout. Gallen set a career high in walks with 6.
Tied, I believe.
6. No.
Oh, set? Oh.
This is the new record. Unless Baseball Reference didn't list it correctly. Like, he had done 5 multiple times. But, no. 6 is the record. Gallen in this game it's really starting to worry me. I'm not gonna like ever since Gabe kind of pointed out like him tipping his pitches with his leg, that like I've been watching it like almost every pitch, and I'm like, yep, here comes the fastball, yep, here comes the curveball. Now his changeup was really good in this game. What was so weird about this? First 3 innings, he sets down the first 2 guys easy, no problem. First, second, and third, he allows a walk to the number 3 guy batting in that inning. And I was like, what's going on? Like, is it possible it is injury related still? Like, because it's been his last 4 starts where he just doesn't seem to. He doesn't look like the Zach Gallen from last season. He looks like, to be honest, he looks like Brandon Pfaadt when he first came up. Like, just looks like, does he Does he deserve to be here? I know. Crazy to say that I'm saying that does Zach Gallen deserve to be on a major league roster? But the way that he's been pitching here in the month of July,
I'm Mr. Glass half empty.
his
Why?
last four starts, 4 innings, 5 1/3, 3 2/3, 5, and then hits is 4, 7, 9, and 3. He had 6. Like his WHIP has gone from 1.1 to 1.25. Now it that's not that big a deal, but I know for me it has me worried. This is the fourth start in a row where he's looked average, basically. Gabe, does this team need Gallen to be the ace Cy Young caliber for us to make that postseason push?
Yeah, they need all hands on deck because with the way that the season started, like we're gonna get into it in a little bit, but I kind of blame Gallen for what happened today with with Torrey throwing out Justin Martinez out there. It should have been Ginkel or someone else, but he had to use all of his bullets on this second game because Gallen only went in 5 innings. They had guys warming up since the fourth just because of his high pitch count. He just could not get the job done. And when your supposed ace is not doing his job and he's struggling to put guys away and putting this team in situations that they shouldn't be in the first place, like I know there's going to be bad games here and there. There's going to be 1 or 2 games of bad stretches, but this is more than just a few games for Gallen. Like this is quite a few games, like especially in a row, but throughout this season where he just has not looked right. Like, especially with the way he started it. We talked about, you know, maybe being a little rusty and just a little tired just because of the shortening spring for him because he didn't have the normal spring training because of the playoffs and then little minor things here and there. But he's starting to worry me a little bit because as we mentioned with something like guys like Suarez and stuff, it's like we want to see progress. We want to see those flashes of brilliance where it's like, okay, like there's something going on here again. Like he's coming out of whatever funk this is. He's readjusted, but it just seems like he's missing a lot. He doesn't hit his spots at all. He's giving too many walks. He's throwing fastballs way inside, way outside, and that curveball, as nasty as that curveball is, it doesn't seem to be getting as much swing and misses as it normally does. But because it's just not playing off as well as the with the fastball, because he throws 2 fastballs inside that are way too inside, not even close to the plate, or way outside, on top, and then he tries to throw in that curveball, and it's like, why would they swing at that? Like they're gonna spit on it because he's already down 2-0. So then he throws a curveball, and the curveball's in the dirt, and that's suddenly he's 3-0, and then he has to throw a fastball down the middle, which is when he's gotten into trouble because you can't fall down behind in counts no matter what the team is, whether it's the Athletics or it's the Dodgers. You can't fall behind to any guy because that automatically puts the batter at the advantage. And it's just one of those things where he needs to be an ace. We need him to be an ace. Brandon Pfaadt, as great as he's been so far, he's truly not our main ace. Like we need 2 aces on this team. Merrill Kelly is still not back. Erod, even Montgomery. Like we need 2 guys to head this team that are going to be reliable. That if you go on a 3-game losing streak, okay, well, next 2 games started by Gallen and Pfaadt, or Gallen, Kelly, and Pfaadt. We're going to win 3, or we're going to win 2. Oh, we're not going to win the Pfaadt one because he never wins for some reason. But it's one of those things where, I mean, with that too, it's like you're talking about, do we need both the aces? Yeah, because this team doesn't win with Pfaadt on the mound, like for whatever reason. It's just very, very strange. Today, it's just they scored. I mean, Imanaga was great today too, but that bullpen just shuts the D-backs down. It's just, I don't know what the problem is, why they hate Brandon Pfaadt so much, but this dude cannot catch a break. Like, I don't understand how they're never able to put up that many runs. Like, Zach Davies would get like 9 runs a game, and they can't even get 1
Yeah,
for
because he gave
Brandon
up
Pfaadt.
12. He gave up 12, so offense would have to. Yeah, like Gallen. And AZ Bubba brings it up. Did they rush him too early? He was out for like a month. So I don't, because he seemed fine in the, I think it was like 2 starts when he came back, but this month alone, like these last 4 starts have been not Gallen-esque for sure.
Did he pitch at Reno? I don't remember
No,
No,
him
he
actually
did
pitching.
just
No,
backfield bullpens.
the backfield. Maybe that might be it. Just the fact that he didn't get true competition, against. I mean, they're still minor leaguers, but not getting the same competition because if he's doing backlog games, it's a lot of like the fall league guys. So these are guys who are playing in Mexico and stuff like that during the off season. And Robinson Cano has like 45 homers and 1200 OPS in Mexico. So it's not the same level of competition as he would be if he's facing off guys in AAA who are on the precipice of joining the majors.
Good point. Brandon, you're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I muted myself. Yeah, it's just I'm hoping he'll figure it out. I know he will. There's a reason why he is the ace of the D-back staff. There's a reason for that. So Brett, like, how are you feeling with Gallen? Are you, because we know most of the time you're Mr. Glass half empty, not half full. And does Gallen need to be like the best pitcher in Major League Baseball for us to make that postseason run? Or do you think he can be maybe the number 2 guy in the rotation behind Fott and we still make it?
I mean, if he can at least be a number 2, I think that'll go a long ways. But I mean, this is the guy that even just last year and 2 years ago, we were talking about giving him Garrett Cole kind of money. Like, we need to see Garrett Cole kind of stuff. We need to see this ace kind of stuff. I'm not saying like, how he's not going to be worth it. He's not an ace. He doesn't have the stuff. He's lost it. I think one of the things they brought up on the broadcast that, which by the way, never been too big of a fan of AJ Pierzynski. He's actually not too bad of a commentator and calling a game, so props to him for that. But one of the things he was bringing up that I believe Tori mentioned, I'm not sure in what press conference, but it was Zach just having the confidence, the body language being a big thing. Like, I know a lot of us that probably watched the game. It's not like anything new to Zach. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. That's just who he is as a player. It's not a bad thing. Like, you love to see that kind of fire. But there's those times when, opens up the inning and he just keeps yanking fastballs low and away, or his changeup, he just can't get it out of the dirt. And he's like, not throwing a fit, but it's like you can clearly see where it's like, dude, like, you look like a little leaguer right now. Again, not trying to disrespect them. Just there are times where are you getting in your own head? Like, you still gotta know, hey, you are an ace. You have the stuff to do it. Do it. Like, you can do it. I know it's that's probably why you're frustrated yourself, but go out there knowing that you can do it, not just kind of like, again, I'm not gonna compare and say I know exactly what it's like, but there was times back in the day when I just didn't have my stuff, and I'm just like up there hoping, oh, please don't crush it. Please don't crush it. And I can't find it. You got to have confidence on the mound, no matter what pitcher or what you are, a starting pitcher, relief pitcher, or a closer. You got to have it. And it just seems like lately Zach doesn't have it as much. I think the tipping thing is still a big issue. It might be maybe he's more in his own head mentally up here about like the delivery, that he's not worried about where his leg kick is and all that. But I do think that Gallen needs to at least be number 2 quality if we want to make the postseason. Like, we made our run last year with him doing what he did. He carried us. We need him to carry us again. He's the ace of this team. I still believe in him. I still think he can do it. I mean, the fact that he had 5 innings, 6 walks, which I did confirm that is tying a career high. He did have 6 against I went on the MLB game logs, went back to 2019 against the Rockies. He went 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 6 walks, 8 strikeouts. So
it tied it.
Yeah, tie. But still, like, to go 5 years without doing that, that's wild. Like, he's not this wild. Even looking at the spray chart or the pitch chart, his changeup, like, he didn't leave many changeups in the zone, but he had a lot of changeups that were just non-competitive pitches. And even, like, I know curveballs are supposed to be in the dirt, so it's a little harder to say that's not a competitive pitch, but there was a lot of off speed that he just could not actually get to catch the bottom of the zone. And that's usually where he feasts. That's why his changeup is so good. It's if he can catch the corners and then right at the very end, it makes those lower changeups and those lower curveballs even nastier. He just hasn't been able to find it lately, and I think that's been a big key to why he doesn't have the confidence. At least it doesn't look like it in the body language, and he's just not producing at the ace level we know he actually can. And yeah, AJ, like I said, I like Przinski a little bit more than I used to. I'm not gonna lie. Muted.
I thought this whole broadcast was actually really good. Like, it wasn't like a complete like Cubs love fest, which
It was
is
a good baseball broadcast. It was a neutral. It's what I wish we would have gotten in the fucking playoffs against the Dodgers.
Yeah, if only Bob Costas. If only. But there's more to discuss from this game. Our newly engaged young king, Alec Thomas, hits a opposite field home run in the city of Chicago. Now, it's not where he grew up, as he did grow up on the south side with the White Sox, but it's still hitting a home run in Chicago probably meant a lot to him. And I'm pretty sure his fiance was actually in center field for the game, because she did post a TikTok that just randomly showed up on my feed. I was like, "Oh, this is interesting."
Oh, it's not random. You talked about Alec Thomas, and your phone was like, "Oh yeah, you want some Alec Thomas content?"
Yeah. So I was worried because he hadn't been he hit really well in this series. In the first two games, I was very pleased. I think he's back up to about 220 now, which he was at like 180 for a hot minute. I was like, oh boy, are we gonna get this Alec Thomas where it's basically a guaranteed out? But
you said 56 at bats this year, so that average is going to go fluctuate a lot.
Yes, it's going to go up and down like every day.
That's why you don't box score watch and go, but he's hitting 180. He's bad.
And then we had our other young star, Corbin Carroll, mash a home run to right center. His power is back, ladies and gentlemen. This is his fourth home run in the month of July. He had, 2 in the first 3 months of the season. So that power's back. He's really barreling up the baseball really well. So that definitely has me like, it's not Gallen that we need to be worried. Like, this team goes as far as Corbin Carroll because he is the catalyst of this offense. If he's hitting well and playing well, getting on base, stealing bases, turning routine singles into doubles, offense is just going to score. And we know how solid our A bullpen is. We saw it in this game. 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Our 4 stud bullpen arms shut down the Cubs bats. So really impressive. Carroll's power has returned. Gabe, what do you think changed in the month of July?
I think it's just health, and then it's just it really is, getting certain guys back that needed to be back, but also it's just the way the season goes for a lot of guys, where they'll start off slow and then eventually they'll start to heat up. They'll find their rhythm and find their groove. And with Carroll, again in the season preview, we talked about, I believe it was when Brett and Josh went to the Salt River Fields, that I mentioned that he seemed to have changed his swing a bit to resemble a little bit more of a Christian Yelich type of swing, maybe to get more power. And that seemed to be what he mainly worked on in the offseason. So making those in-season adjustments is very, very hard. You don't have time to be doing that because it's just having to completely retool your swing during the season is incredibly difficult. So maybe he just finally found some time to actually work on those swings, because again, he probably took 1,000 hacks with that new swing. So having to go back to what he was before, shortening that swing a little bit, trying to get more pop, more elevation on it, and having a week off to do it again. Like, I don't know if he took time off. I don't know if he, worked on his swing, but if Carroll is just able to start swinging the bat like this again, I think we're going to be in a good position. And also, Alec just does seem to like hitting in Chicago, because I believe it was in his rookie year, he had 2 home runs in Chicago on the same game. Unless I'm wrong, but I
I'm
swear
looking it up right
he
now
hit
for it.
he had 2 home runs. Both were like to center. It was like I think it was a day game too, and it might have been even foggy. For some reason, I remember it foggy. But he just seems to really like hitting Chicago. He likes to be back home. He has a different swagger when he's home, and obviously, he has that newlywed or newly engaged power going on. So I can imagine once he's a dad that he's gonna have that old man strength at some point too. But yeah, it's really really cool to see both of them go back to back. Like these are the guys that we saw as our future, and this game showed like this is the future that we've been wanting from these two guys.
Yeah, like it's just so exciting to watch. Like this team is just more fun to watch when these young guys, our core, are playing well. Domo, Alec, Carroll. Like when they play well, this team goes. And you want to know who was on base for the Carroll 2-run home run? Geraldo Perdomo,
Who else would it be?
right? Like if you would to box score Geraldo Perdomo, you'd be like, he's not that good. If you watch him though, watch his at bats. That man, he very rarely, like I swear, at least once a game, he has a 6-7 pitch at bat, whether that ends up being like a fly out or a walk. It's truly amazing to watch. Um, so Brett, do you think Carroll can keep this going? Like, do you think we could see, because we still have about another 10 days left this month? You think maybe we get 2 or 3 more home runs, and then he kind of duplicates that in August? Or do you think this is just a little flash in the pan?
So I mean, we've been probably the main culprit of the amount of times this year on Twitter. We've been, you guys have probably seen the, he's back, memes with Corbin Carroll. And again, it's most of the time it's just all fun and games. That's what we're here. It's for fun. You got to make things fun in life, That's what we're here to do. But with the amount of times we said it, and then immediately he'll like go on like a slow streak, or he'll just kind of like have a week or so where he just goes like 1 for 4, 0 for 5s. I don't want to, and plus anytime I say something, the complete opposite happens. So I don't want to really like fully predict anything. I would love it to see him, again, baseball's fun when your team is playing well, especially when your favorite players and your team are playing well. It's even more fun to watch. So it's kind of a no-brainer, obviously. I think he gets going, this team can actually hopefully go on a real winning streak for once, and not just this, what we've been seeing, like, they'll win like, 4 of 6 or 5 of 7, 8 of 10 kind of thing, where it's still good, but it's like they're not getting on that like 6, 7, 8 gamer in a row. One of the things that Bubba says or brought up in the chat with Resting Corbin, trying to get him like rolling. I agree. It is rough, but I think just the unfortunate timing of,
Lefties.
facing lefties. And I love wanting to get Corbin to start, but when you can't sit Jake against lefties at this point. And I know he's kind of cooled down against lefties a little bit, but still I kind of get where he was coming from, especially Imanaga. Dude, Imanaga's nasty. I love Corbin. I want him to get it going, but I'd rather have his confidence from the Hendricks game stay high, going to Kansas City, trying to, do that instead of facing a really tough lefty and getting your confidence immediately shot back down again. Sometimes you got to ride that wave as a manager, but I don't know. I'm really hopeful that he can just turn it around, because I mean his on base percentage is 299, dipped below 300. His OPS is still at 638, so he's getting it up there. I believe earlier in the year it was like maybe at like 590. So we're seeing slight improvements. I would like to see it actually stay and continue instead of it being this like, like you said, flash in the pan trend that we've kind of come to see him do a little bit too much this year.
Yeah. So both of them go yard. I just want to see them do this consistently. Moving on to game 3, I was very disappointed in seeing the starting lineup in this one. I get it's a lefty, so you got to play Grichuk. And it feels like every Sunday is a Jose Herrera game. Like, I swear it's every Sunday. So if you want to see Gabby, don't go to a Sunday game because I don't know if that's true or not. It's just a feeling that I had. But Fott started in this game, and wow, he I think he pitched better than Imanaga, but we didn't get the win for him, which is kind of a bummer. He goes 7 innings, one hit by Brandon Fott, 1 walk, 7 Ks, 94 pitches. His last 4 starts, you guys, 0.77 ERA. That is domination at its finest. He hasn't allowed a run since the first inning against the Padres. So this start, he didn't give up a run. He didn't give up a run in his last start. So he's on a decent scoreless streak right now. Really impressive. But again, he doesn't get the win. And I will die on this hill. Wins are not a pitcher stat. It is not a stat to use to say a pitcher is good. Brandon Fott is a really good example of that. He's had so many quality starts. Like his quality starts lately have been, it's like you really feel for the kid. Like you're just like, what does he have to do to get a win? Yeah, he's 4-6. His ERA is going. It's at 3.74 now. Like
It was at 460 on June 7th.
Yeah, I think that was his highest. It's highest was in his first few starts, but that doesn't count because those ERAs go up and down, just like batting averages when you don't have a lot of innings or a lot of at bats. But he's been so good lately. I really just I feel for him. But the fact that he set down 14, like he went blow for blow with Shota Imanaga. Like they both, like there was like one hit through the entire game to like the 5th.
That was just a good old pitcher's duel, man. As somebody who's said many times they're a slut for pitching, oh boy, I feasted today. Oh, it was great. I loved it. I mean, not when we were just swinging and missing at 93-mile-an-hour heaters right down the middle, getting Paul Seawalded, but still.
So, Gabe, what do you want to see from Fott in these next few starts? Do you want him to continue to do, because I don't know how many starts it's got to be 5 or 6 now that these teams are jumping on him early or are trying to jump on him early. Like, so many first innings, he's like 10, 12, 13 pitches. Like, and I think he's got to know that now. The pitching staff's got to know that now. And I think that's why they're having him attack the corners, because if they're being that aggressive, then take advantage of it. So what's something on Fott you want to see here in the next month?
It seems like they adjusted to Fott maybe about a month ago, which is just to try to attack him early because he lives in the strike zone so much. He's not a guy who will be throwing balls outside of it, so they're just like, we'll try to get that fastball early on or that sweeper early on, see if you can get it. Because if you fall behind on Fott, you're kind of screwed. You're going to be struck out. So he seems to have adjusted. He, like, these last few starts, he's adjusted to it, to where he'll hit those corners, get a whole bunch of soft ground outs. I would still just a little bit more swing and miss. But it's hard to do when these guys are swinging early, trying to make contact. They're not just free swinging really as much on Fott as they normally would have. But I mean, they've been facing good teams as well. But my problem is not with Fott; it's with the offense that they just can't score, and I don't understand it. Like, it was not only that; it's not just the offense; it's the bullpen too. There's games where he's left with 7 innings, 1 run, and it's a 4-1 lead, and then the bullpen comes in and blows it up, and it's just like, it's so frustrating. Brandon Fott should be like on the level with Ranger Suarez right now in terms of wins, but I think he's either at 5-6-6 or 5-6. Like,
4-6.
It's ridiculous. 4-6. It's ridiculous. Like
Yeah, it's not fair.
I know wins are, meaningless, but if you're able to get wins, like those are still valuable, especially when you're coming into arbitration, when you come into free agency. If Brandon Fogg goes into free agency and he has a 3.5 ERA for his career, but he has, let's just say, 30 wins and 50 losses, teams are going to look at that and be like, well, why would we, you know, ever give you 25, 30 million a year, even though we know how great he is, but they can just tell him like, no, like you don't win games. It doesn't matter what the stats say. Sometimes it's just the way it is. And same with arbitration when, he might be one of these guys who ends up getting, justifiably butthurt because of the way they're going to attack him in arbitration, which is he doesn't seem to win games, although it's not his fault. But during arbitration, wins and losses matter, and it's just unfortunate they're just not helping him out. I mean, he has to be perfect in these games. He had a 1-run lead through 7 innings. He had to be perfect, and he almost was. He had 2 hits, 1 hit,
One hit and
one hit. He is borderline perfect through 7 innings, and they still couldn't win this game. It's so unfortunate. It's so frustrating. Like he's looked every bit as incredible as we expected him to, and it's just not paying off for him.
Yeah, it's really a bummer. Like, what does he have to do? So, Brett, what do you want to see from Fott over the next 4 to 6 weeks?
I mean, really just more of the same. I know it's only been 3 starts compared to even June. He had 6 starts, so it's only halfway there. We're living on a prayer. So I had to do it. He had 14 walks alone in the month of June in those 6 games and 7 home runs allowed, where in July he has no home runs and 1 walk to 17 strikeouts, and he had 31 in the entire month of June. So overall, his numbers he's keeping the ball in the yard. He's throwing in the zone more. I think, again, some of that might help with teams being a little over-aggressive. Maybe they're swinging at more of those pitches that would be a 1-0 in the count or make it a 2-1, 3-1, etc. So, again, it could be a big thing, but I just want to see continue doing that. Continue just having some efficient innings, especially if we continue getting these random blow-up starts from 2 of our 3 or 2 of our 5 starters, maybe 3 of our 5 starters, then we're going to need him to eat up as many innings as we can, try to keep as much of the bullpen as fresh as possible. And a day like today, it's, again, very unfortunate. It's Brandon Fox can go out there, he can be borderline perfect, but because the bullpen got to be absolutely gas and the offense just didn't want to do anything. I mean, again, rightfully so. Imanaga was great. Not saying this is all on the offense. But it's just he's just so unlucky. There's not really much else we can ask from him other than just to, like I said, more of the same.
Yeah. I think he will finish with more wins than losses this season because I think offense will get it together. I mean, they have to. If they want to make the playoffs, they gotta score more. Major League Baseball, just go ahead and give the Gold Glove to Christian Walker right now. Like, this freaking play today was absolutely insane. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, how can you give the first base Gold Glove to anyone? Like, I know you shouldn't win the award based on one good defensive play, but the thing is, Christian doesn't just make one good play. Like, Christian,
is he like one of the I'd say like highest IQ first baseman? Because he did a year or 2 ago against the Pirates, had that infield like where it was a runner on first, I believe. The batter out of the box didn't run. He let it land, threw the guy out at second, and because the guy didn't run out of the box, they got an easy double play. I mean, again, love Goldie. Don't think he's going to be replaced in my heart by Christian, but holy shit, if you would have told me that they go from a really good defending first baseman in Paul Goldschmidt, who is a Gold Glover, to somebody who would genuinely run circles around him at the position defensively, I wouldn't have believed you. I didn't think that was a possibility. I wouldn't even been like, maybe he'll be good. But holy cow, man. He makes plays like that. it seems almost like once a week, whether it's like some insane high IQ move or it's he just genuinely athletic play.
Yeah,
So
and the
he
thing is,
has.
he makes these plays. Like this is something like you're talking about high IQ. This is something that let's just say like a Vlad Jr. will think of doing, but he won't make the play. It's just kind of like outside of the box. Who thinks of this? What sort of PFP drill is this? Is it just Christian Walker? It's just such a strange play where I saw it. I'm like, what are they gonna do? Who's gonna get to it? And he just lays out. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. And he's had so many of these plays throughout this whole season where it seems like it's no one but him would ever think of doing something crazy like that. Because who would? Like, if the ball's rolling to me, I'm kind of just I'm probably trying to scoop it up rather than laying myself on the ground like that. Because why would I assume I'm going to be able to get it in time? Like, he just has such a high IQ, and in order to make a play like that, you got to know how fast the ball is coming to you and if it's going to beat the runner or not too. Like, you can't just make a play like that. So I don't know. Christian Walker is just something else. And as great as Goldie was, Goldie made the plays he had to make. Christian Walker makes plays that nobody else can make, and I say that because truly, if you look at his advanced metrics, nobody but him is doing what he's doing. He's so far ahead of anyone else at the position, and man, we can't lose him. Like
No, we
take out
can't.
the pocketbooks. Like we cannot lose him. He is. We talk about how great Barte has been in at second base this year. How good Perdomo is at short. We can't lose a Gold Glove defender, especially in that corner spot. Like we need him there, and I know he's getting a little bit on the
Who
older
do we
side,
put
but
to replace him? We have no one in this organization that is ready to play first base right now.
and not just a good first base, an elite first base.
Correct.
No matter who we put up, if they're not as great as Walker, there's going to be huge drop off.
Yeah. So all right. So he's at 11 for outs above average. Number 2 at first base isn't even in the National League. It's Carlos Santana at 9. Bryce Harper's at 6.
Which Bryce Harper had a pretty cool shout out at the All-Star game. I think the red carpet show. Maybe it was a home run derby. But he was saying that Rob Thompson was trying to make him into a different first baseman. Like, and I think Bryce was saying he's like basically like a guy that I'm not. And I think Greg Amsinger asked him like to clarify like who in the league, and he was just like guys like Christian Walker. And that's crazy. Like he's so underrated, and if Bryce Harper on the Phillies knows that he's good, maybe the MLB should know that he's good and make him a fucking all-star next year.
He's tied for 4th in all of Major League Baseball in outs above average at 11. So you got Simeon, and then there's 2 guys at third. Simeon's at 14. There's 2 stupid fast guys. Michael Sion and Jacob Young. Like they are like Corbin level fast, so that kind of makes sense. Bobby Witt, and then Dalton Varsho, and then tie with Christian Walker is Josh Rojas.
And those are like the premium positions. First
Yes.
baseman, like you usually don't get this sort of opportunities to get outs above average. Like most of the time, you have guys, like Olsen who be very good, but it's like you're usually not getting guys get so many outs above average or defensive run save because it's just not the same position that they're playing. It's a totally different thing. But any outfield spot, you can rack up defensive WAR and the shortstop, third base, and even to a certain point, second base. You can rack these up. And first base is just you're receiving a lot more than you're actually going out and getting. But Christian Walker goes out of his way to get outs, which is not something that like I said, as great as Goldie has, was for this team. There's a lot where he wasn't the main starter, like getting the actual outs. Like how many games have Christian Walker saved already? Like, bases loaded, 1 out, and then 1 out, 2 outs, and then just a hard liner. Could have gone through, lost the game, and Christian Walker is just there making the play, making it look routine. Or even in the playoffs when it bounced off first base and he still got the out. It's like, who does that? Like, no, it's no one but him.
Yeah, so we need to I know he's going to be probably in a bidding war. He might have to outbid other teams, but I'm sorry, this man deserves a payday. He's how much he's like grinded through in his career, and even just looking at his like not even just defensively, look where we would be without his offense. His 261 batting average, 343 on base, 488 slugging, 831 OPS. Has got a 134 OPS plus. You take him out of this lineup, and we're sellers. We're literally shipping off Jordan Montgomery if we can. We're shipping off Paul Sewald, like maybe Ryan Thompson. If so the package is right, they would be in a seller's position way more than they would be without him, or than they are now with him. And that's what he's not just defensively. He's both. Like, this man needs to be kept here. Like, I know it's going to be rough. I know the rumors or whatever about contract extensions. They're just going to let it go into the offseason. I think that might be Hazen going, hey, you know what, man? We're going to let the market tell us how expensive you are, and maybe he's going to go we'll match it. We'll do it. Let's see what other teams value, because we value you more than they do.
So he has 7 defensive runs saved. It's crazy who's second in the National League with 6. Joey Gallo. Joey Gallo is second with
Defensive
6.
wizard,
Yeah, those two words don't belong. Cattell is at 11, so he's tied for 4th in defensive runs saved. So just on the right side of that infield, you have 18 defensive runs saved. That's amazing. That is absolutely insane. This Mike Hazen, you need to do whatever you can. Ken Kendrick, do whatever you can. You cannot let this man go play for somebody else. Because I wouldn't be surprised if the Dodgers just sign him just so that he doesn't destroy them anymore.
God, I would cry. No.
Yeah.
Don't even bring that back.
I legit think Walker hates them. I think Walker hates them.
Well, he was drafted by them. I didn't realize that. Like, he was drafted by them.
They drafted Goldie and Walker, and neither of them would go there. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I can see why they didn't, because they took him like right out of high school, like in the 60-something round or something like that. Like, the bonus is probably like $50 and like a box of shoes or something. Like, you get no money at that point. He was drafted, a little bit higher up with the Orioles, so he got a little bit of a bigger bonus. Same with Goldie, but I feel like when it comes to Walker, it's gonna be the Cardinals, the Yankees. Like, there's gonna be 3 or 4 teams that are really, really gonna be after him, and Hazen and Kendrick have to be ready to cut that pocketbook and pay him what he deserves, because he's been in the league a long time. Like, he's made less than 20 million, which I know we're saying that, we don't all make 20 million, but he deserves a big payday. He got 10 million in this arbitration hearing. That's like the minimum of what he deserves. He deserves at least 20, anywhere from 20 to 25, and there's going to be a team that gives it to him. We just hope it's us.
Yeah, even oh, sorry, you go ahead, Brandon.
So I was looking at the highest paid first baseman this season. Bryce is first at 27.5. Number 3 is Goldie at 26. Matt Olson's at 22. I think Christian should get between
I can see him 25.
Yeah, I was thinking like 24, 25.
So
especially if he wins his 3rd straight Gold Glove, he's gonna finish with over 30 homers and 100 runs driven in. Like, there's no reason why this man should not be able to sign like a 2-3 year deal.
Yeah,
25.
Has anybody at first base ever won the Platinum Glove? Because I know like Arenado and Chapman won it over at third base for a while, but has anybody at first? I don't know. Olsen might have. That's what he's the only name that I could think that possibly did it in Oakland, but I don't fully know.
Give me a second.
But one of the things, because you talk about Kendrick and Hazen getting together, giving them the money, there was something that I think Brooks gave one of those
did. In 2016. In 2016. That's the only one that's ever won.
So maybe he'll be the second one. But there was a Brooksgate thing that came out, and it was teams' revenue, or how much teams made last year and how much went back into the team this year. and it was like 70 to the actual payroll, and it was like 71% of whatever it was. D-backs were number 3, which really shows, hey, you know what? Like we talked about in the offseason, all that, Kendrick will put his money where his mouth is. But it's kind of even crazy. That's not even accounting for the Madison Bumgarner contract. That's not even accounting for the other like dead money that they have going off this year alone. So you just take that money, give that to Walker next year, and it makes that number go up even higher. So once again, Ken Kendrick is not the worst owner to happen to sports ever. John Fisher.
You're gonna drop that anytime you can.
Anytime I can. No ball, buddy.
All right, so let's take a look. So as of right now for the 2025 season, the total payroll is at 127 million. This season we're at 180, but that's just based on what's currently there. Right now, there's only 10 guys that have money slated for next season. So,
yeah. And there's a potential, let's say, like, who knows, like, if Montgomery opts out and doesn't want to come back next year, like, there's another 25 million that you can, I mean, I think he'll probably stay with how he's going this year. Why would you give up, 20 million? But if he doesn't stay, there's money they can give to Walker there. Like, you got to keep this guy around, man. You can't do this. We can't become the Rays or the A's where we just let homegrown talent just walk. Like we finally pay somebody and then we go, everybody else can go.
So next season, Mad Bum is only 5 million. This year it's 14. So we're freeing up 9 million right there. And like you said, Jordan Montgomery, if he decides not to come back, it's 25 million right there. Like
Eugenio Suarez's contract.
It's technically still there for next season at 15.
Oh, that's right. I thought it was. Is it a team option? Is he actually still here next year? Is it a club option player? Does it say?
Club option.
Club option. Okay, so I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they did cut bait there and go, "Hey, we're gonna save some money." There's multiple options
between him and Jock. That would be 25 million. It's both club options.
Yep. I believe Jock was it's a mutual option
for Jock.
Yeah, for Jock.
I would love to keep Jock around. Let Grichuk walk. Bring up DDLS to be our right-handed DH. Let it rock again.
Yeah, I'm so very excited for that. So yeah, again, we won another series. So that's good. Moving on, we do play the Royals next. I don't know how this series is going to go.
They're Royals good at home, man.
Yeah, the Royals are sneaky good, y'all. Like they aren't like Royals from the past few seasons. Bobby Witt is insane, y'all. Like from what I heard, he did really well in the home run derby. He's shortstop in the American League in the All-Star game. It's going to be Gunnar or Bobby Witt every season. So just get ready to see it. So Monday is Diaz versus Cole Reagans. Reagans is pretty good. Reagans, yes, he's 6-6. He has 141 strikeouts in 116 innings. So yeah,
3.16 ERA. That's solid too.
Yeah. So I don't care about wins and losses. What I look at is ERA, because that's kind of, but sometimes not their fault, and then WHIP. Like WHIP to me is how you really tell, because that basically says, okay, this guy allows this many guys on base per inning. Tuesday, we don't have a starter. I have a feeling it's Jordan Montgomery.
It's an inkling.
What I would personally do is send down Castellanos to Reno and put Slade in the bullpen as the long guy. That's personally what I would do in this situation, because I think Slade is better than Humberto Castellanos. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I'm there with you, honestly.
So, and then Wednesday is Ryan Nelson versus
Waka.
Yep, Michael Waka, who is also doing pretty well. He's 7-6, 3.5 ERA, WHIP at 1.2. He doesn't have a lot of strikeouts, but again, he's a very pitch to contact pitcher. So, again, for me, win the series. Just continue to win each series, and then we're going to have to see what this team does at the trading deadline because we're getting closer and closer to that. We're about 10 days away from that. I personally think there's not going to be any moves made till that day.
Give me Tanner Scott, man. I need it.
Because there's so many teams in the National League that are in it right now. They're not going to say, oh, yeah, sure, I'll trade these guys until like probably 48 hours before.
I think the Reds fully committed today. There's a report that they're probably going to start shipping off pieces to, like, they didn't say which pieces, but I think there's a report that they're going to start shipping out some of them. So maybe if there's somebody from them that we can pluck.
Let me check. I mean, we need bullpen arms. I just don't think they have anything that's better than what we got. I mean, actually, Buck Farmer's doing pretty well. 45 innings with a 2.8 ERA. That might be
not bad.
That might be one. Nick Martinez is also a potential. Like, he's a guy that can go both. He's a swing guy. He can be a starter, so he could be a long guy. It's not a
Brent
bad
Suter
option.
doesn't look too bad. He's a lefty at least.
Yeah,
51
what we need
innings,
is
368. We need a stud. We don't need a.
What we saw today, like Mantiply could not get the job done. We need a guy who can come in and get lefty outs. Like, if we face against, we go up against the Dodgers, who do we have that's going to reliably get out Ohtani and Freeman when it's their turn to bat? We don't know. I mean, they're going to get themselves out, apparently, because of the way they played during the playoffs last year. But it's just one of those things where there's a lot of these guys. Same with the Phillies. Who are we getting to get Bryce Harper out? There's a lot of teams that have amazing left-handed hitters, and we don't really have a guy that you can look to and be like, okay, he's going to shut them down. And we're really going to rely on Mantiply, a guy with like an 89-mile-per-hour fastball. He gets a lot of ground outs, but when he's off, he's off. Like, he just misses all over the place and just can't get any outs. But also, I want to mention real quick, since we're going against the Royals, we talk about how good they are at home. Might be time to put your tinfoil hats on, because the splits at home and on the road, huge. It's 2017 Astros like. That's all.
Ooh, okay, Gabe. Okay, Gabe.
Okay.
Might need to get you some sleuth. We might have to go and watch some Royals games, get some audio. Maybe you can be the next John Boy.
So I want to throw.
I think it has to do with the pitch comm.
Yeah, it might be.
Dude, I mean, it's a sketchy thing sometimes.
What do we think about Jonathan India for potentially third base?
I mean, let me look up his stats.
Yeah, so he's batting 275. He has an OPS of 804.
Ooh, okay.
So he has a WAR at 2. So, like, my only worry is I feel like the Reds are going to ask for a lot for him, and I don't want to give up any top prospects for Jonathan India.
I don't know. Is this his last year? No, he was a rookie in 21. Or 20, sorry. I think. Not 21. Yeah, so he still got a few more years after 2 more years after this one. So yeah, they might want like a Yumin Lin kind of guy, maybe like one top prospect. So, I mean, yeah, it's tough. I still, please bring me Tanner Scott. Please bring me Tanner Scott. Please.
You want him so
dude. I mean, just looking at his stats is insane. A 2.9 ERA as a reliever this year is gross. 2.9 WAR with a 130 ERA. 46 strikeouts in 41 innings. In the last 5 games, he's gone 5 1/3 or 5 2/3. 7 or 8 strikeouts, no hits, 2 walks against the Red Sox, White Sox, Astros, Reds, Mets. He's probably the best left-handed reliever on the market. I would be comfortable giving up a Yumin Lin name for that if that's what we need to do to get it. I wouldn't be happy probably about it down the line, I'm not saying I want to trade Lin, but if it means to get a lefty like Tanner Scott again out of the pen, ooh, that'd be gross, dude. That'd be elite. That'd be like Gabe said, that's who you can rely to come out of the pen to get your Otanis and your Freemans and your Harpers out and actually go, I believe, instead of just hoping and praying that things go well.
Bubba. Ellie is a D-back.
We can just send them like a year supply of Skyline chili.
Yeah.
For everybody in the ballpark. Like Skyline chili night, everybody that comes here gets a free, whatever supply. They'll go for it. They love that there.
So, Gabe, yeah, just the real quick thoughts on what you want to see out of the Royal Series.
Hopefully a win. Maybe they should go back to, sending signs rather than relying on the pitch comm. But I'm hoping for a series win mostly.
Brett, thoughts on just a few on the Royals series?
Yeah, series win again. Make sure you're just continue the momentum. Keep building. Like, don't let the train stop now. Especially coming out of the All-Star break. I know a sweep is a lot better than just winning 2 or 3, but there's still a lot of positives coming out of today's game, and I think, and I hope that they'll use that going into Kansas City and again at least win the series.
Yeah,
we don't have to face Spinny Curveball Man and Seth Lugo, so we avoided him today.
Dude, that man's pitching motion is so slow. Oh my Lord, he takes forever to get rid of the ball, but it's
like the rare reverse reliever for so many years, and then he's like, hey, I want to be a starter, and there's a team that's like, okay, we'll let you start, and he's like, yeah, look at that, I'm a good starter.
Yeah, so got a series win against the Cubs. Hopefully we can continue this rolling. Thanks for checking us out here on Dbacks Dispatch. If you're checking us up on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any of that future content. Check us out on Twitter at Dbacks Dispatch, and make sure to check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We will see you all next time.